Hello, my name is Tish. Thank you for joining me today for tea and a book review. I'm drinking Plum Deluxe Chocolate Hazelnut Dessert Tea from a Duchess China teacup in the Dot Rose pattern. I talked about both of these a little bit in an earlier video if you'd like to look that up. I recently listened to the audiobook version of Burning the Sky by Mark Wolverton. It discusses Operation Argus, which involved test detonating nuclear warheads in space. Now, all of this happened before I was born, but I've always found anything remotely related to space exploration and sciences absolutely fascinating. I won't give away too many details, but there were two things that I found particularly interesting. Explorer 1, the first American space satellite, detected the Van Allen belt, which is a region of energetic charged particles held in place around the Earth by our planet's magnetic field. Initially, there was some concern that perhaps this was not a naturally occurring phenomenon after all, but that it was the result of nuclear testing in space by the USSR. Now remember, they had already launched satellites into Earth orbit before we launched Explorer 1. I had a vague concept that there was concern about the USSR dropping bombs from orbit, but I didn't realize that the discovery of the Van Allen belt raised the question in some minds about whether the Russians had already detonated bombs in orbit. Now, of course, we know today that the Van Allen belt is a naturally occurring phenomenon and not the result of anyone detonating nuclear warheads in space. It is worth mentioning that such detonations can cause temporary areas of similarly charged particles to exist. So it may not have been the most outrageous question to be raised after all. The second thing I found intriguing was the actual launch of the missiles used in Operation Argus. 3 of them were launched in 1958 from the deck of the USS Norton Sound. To get the warheads to the right location and altitude required the correct launch angles and such. A lot of complicated math going on. Now, making sure that it was launched under just the right conditions and in just the right direction from the deck of a ship in the ocean is not simple. When the launch button was pushed, it didn't necessarily launch the missile right away. Rather, it gave a computer permission to launch the missile when the instruments measuring all of these conditions showed the correct launch window measurements. The kind of computing power it must have taken was no small thing for that time period, and I think it was a remarkable accomplishment to have found a way to overcome that challenge using technology of the late 1950s. While some may find the book a bit dry, if the topic is one that interests you, I think you would enjoy it. The author did a good job of laying things out in a way that was orderly and made a lot of sense, but he didn't over-dramatize the facts as one might be tempted to when talking about things like detonating nuclear warheads in space. Thank you again for joining me today. I will be posting more videos about teacups, tea, and even books in the future. For now, I'm going to go see if there's any more of that cake left in the kitchen because I think that would go really well with this tea. Have a good day.